Hey everyone, it's MacDivot, and today I want to show you guys how to get your options set up to play Path of Exile. So maybe you're getting excited for the new league, maybe you're getting excited for a league in the future that's not Harvest and 3.11. But today I'm just going to show you a few options that should help you get started and help you get an understanding of how to get set out on the right foot when you're just starting the game. So first thing you want to do is go to Google, open up your browser here, and just Google NeverSync. And I'll put the specific link in the description below, but you're going to want to go to this filter blade option. And what this will give you is an item filter. And so in Path of Exile, it's a game where loot drops all over the place. Loot can clutter up your whole screen in some situations, and what a loot filter does is not only shrink that so that you only see what's important, but it allows you to know what's important throughout the game. So your loot filter is showing you what's important when you're low level, the beginner items, and then it's showing you the more advanced stuff, the higher level and further along you get. Other great things it does is highlight certain things. So when you're deciding, should I really pick that up? You can tell if something's really valuable. You can sort of identify what something is from far away and quickly. And you can also, importantly, program it to have sound, so you can tell when things drop off screen when you start to go really fast. Long story short, you absolutely need an item filter. Filter blade is the gold standard, so there's all kinds of options here you can do to customize it. You can pick different items, but if you have no idea what any of this is, please at the bare minimum, just go to download and start with the basic one. The option it will suggest is a sync with PoE. This works just fine, but I prefer to do this just because I feel like it's a little bit faster. So you're going to download your file, and it's going to download right there. Once it's downloaded, go ahead and open your downloads, and you should see it here. Then go ahead and open another file. And what you're going to do here is go to Documents, My Games, Path of Exile, and then in this folder you can just drag over that .filter file that you made, and you're all set. So now when I open Path of Exile, what you're going to see is that in options here, we're going to want to turn on that item filter that we just made. This is super important. Make sure whatever you named your item filter is set here. You might have to refresh, but you're going to click that, and now your item filter is good to go. And so I'm just going to spend a few minutes here to show you some of the other really important settings that you want to have in the beginning. Actually, why don't I go ahead and log in and create a new character so you can see exactly how. Here's a guy I don't care about. We're just gonna go in with the Marauder for the Slam League and show you what some of these options do. So you load in, and like I said, we go to options. We have our item filter, and you'll see as we get going that it'll be in effect. But so the other important things are these are your skill slots down here. So as you get skills, you can choose what they're bound to, and you only have these 8 slots. So usually want to keep these as your mouse buttons, but you can add mouse buttons, whatever you're comfortable with down here, but you want to make sure these are bound to be as comfortable as possible, because in this game, you are going to use a lot of skills. You're going to be, you're going to be a little bit strapped for skill slots. So you're probably going to be using all of these unless you're playing a more simple character. And there's nothing wrong with that, though. If it does feel like you can't use too many of these, there's nothing wrong with picking a build that uses fewer buttons and rolling with that. That's absolutely what I did for probably the first few years when I was playing. But so once you've got your button set, which is done in input down here, the other important things you want to do are to make sure map is set to tab. I think that's default, but you also want to make sure inventory and your passive skill tree are set to easily accessible buttons. And so what that does is when I open my inventory real quick, you're going to be here a lot. Path of Exile uses a skill system that's item based. That's a long story. I might get into that in another video, but you're going to be on this inventory screen a lot. And then passive skill tree, this is Path of Exile calling card. You're going to be accessing this a lot too, because you have to place every skill point individually. So you've got my item filter, and you've got these two screens easily accessible now. You're almost all set. I think there's a few other things that you're gonna want to have set up that just make sure you get the best experience possible. I like to set life and mana value so I can see exactly what the numbers are. It's also super helpful, in my opinion, to set blast buffs and aura icons, because as you get further into the game, it's going to be important to understand what you have turned on, make sure everything's up and running, and also be able to see your flash so you know when to hit the next one. And that might be a little advanced if you're just getting started, but for now, just show every buff possible. You might want to turn off chat if you log in and it's a little annoying. And then the last thing I suggest, or second to last thing, is that you want to show these life bars. I think these are super helpful. Definitely want to have them over enemies, because if not, it sort of becomes a mystery of what health they have unless they're named. So yeah, those are super important. And actually the last thing is, if we go back to back to UI at the bottom here, you're going to want to set default loot allocation of permanent. So this is when you're in the party. This makes it so that it's not a free-for-all when an item drops. It's not the first person to click. If you're into that kind of thing, feel free to make it a different kind of allocation, but for all intents and purposes, I think pretty much everyone uses permanent allocation. So those are all the settings. The last thing I want to do in this video is just give you a little bit of a sense of how they all come together. So I'm going to get started here. I'm going to skip the tutorial, get my guy up and running here, pick up the weapon, and of course the loot filter is not taking that out. I'm going to click away from the dialogue and just try and go as fast as possible. I think in a future video I'll maybe show some speed runs. If you're new to Path of Exile, again, you might not know this, but Path of Exile is a very speed intensive game. When a new league like Harvest comes out, everyone starts from scratch, and so the economy and unlocking the new content is always a race to get as far ahead in the game as possible. So speed is very important, and that's sort of the backbone behind why we've done a lot of these options that we have. So I'm just going to insert my new thing. You see how quick I was able to access inventory, and then I'm going to mash Hillock. It's unfortunate that I aggroed some of these zombies. This isn't the best positioning, but for now we just want to show the hotkeys in effect. So you can see the health bar is super helpful because I can just keep an eye on that and my mana all in one spot right in the middle of the screen, to know exactly. Oh my god, don't want to die to Hillock there. Good thing I had my health bar visible. And again, very unfortunate I aggro the zombie, but see, now you can see the item filter in effect. So it's highlighted small life flask a little more than these other items, because life flasks, even small ones in the beginning, are crucial. And now for the last tip, if this was, a situation where I was trying to go as fast as possible, I would jump into town here and use my passive tree hotkey to quickly jump in here, allocate my passive, and now I'm all set. So I might make some future videos to show some of my practice runs to, again, go as fast as possible, maybe explore some more game mechanics, explain how inventory works for new characters, and more. So if you have any suggestions, or just want to come see me practice, I'll link my Twitch down in the description below. I'm on pretty much every day, so please leave a comment if you have any questions, or come drop by sometime and say hi. All right, I'll see you guys later.